Hello and welcome to the Athlete Playbook Podcast. My name is Simone Harper and I am your host. This is episode 1 and I just want to thank you guys for tuning in and welcome to my podcast. Today we are going to start off with giving our high schoolers a few tips I wish I would have known while trying to pursue track and field on the collegiate level, as well as just some things that I think will be insightful and very helpful for them before we just dive into college sports as a whole. This is going based off of my experience, so track and field, but it can also be applied to other sports because I have talked to my friends and family who have done, football, basketball, volleyball, baseball, whatever, and some of the stuff is similar, so I think everybody can kind of, take away from this. Majority of this information is universal. It just depends on the school you go to, school and division, honestly. So yeah, let's just jump right into this. If you see me looking down, I'm just looking at my little notebook. That's where I wrote my notes for you guys. We're gonna start this off. So first, I want to start off with make sure this is something you really want to do. When you try to do your sport on the next level, it takes a whole nother level of commitment, especially like going from high school to college, a whole different ball game. It becomes physically, mentally, and emotionally taxing, and if you can't be self-motivated some days, like you're not gonna last, you might want to quit some days. Honestly, the way it goes, like early mornings, late nights, study hall, practice, weights, community service, like a lot of days you don't have time for yourself and you don't really have a social life sometimes. So just making sure beforehand that you know what you're getting yourself into is very important. And sometimes depending on the school, the program, your coaches, your teammates, you might not have the best support system. So you got to be able to pull yourself up out of whatever you're going through or whatever is going on and still show up every single day. Track was low-key more fun in high school. It was fun in college too sometimes, but like you had less pressure. You were just out there having fun. Like, yes, you wanted to win, but like it wasn't end all be all. Like it just felt freer in high school. So just really, really embrace that and enjoy the time while you can, because it becomes a job once you get to college, low-key. But I just want to make sure you guys know what you're getting yourself into and just make s're you really want to do it, not just for, because I know some people do it in high school just for fun, like just because they want to say they're doing something. I know some people want to do it in college because they want to get scholarships, they want to get their school paid for. Some people do it in college because they really love it and they really just want to go pro or like do, X, Y, and Z. I just want to make sure you guys know what you're getting yourself into and really, really, really want to do it before you get to college. So, number 2, I want to say do AAU or some type of league outside of school sports because, 1, you can gain exposure. I know a lot of college coaches don't have time during the season to really travel and recruit, so sometimes they put aside more time in the summer so they can do those things. So you doing this can set yourself up to be, exposed to different coaches, and it also can expose you to a different level of coaching. I know sometimes some high schools don't have the best coaches, so if you find a good like summer league or whatever and you're being coached up, you can take what you learned from them and what you learned from your high school coach, put it together, and really perfect your craft. So I would say really invest in yourself when you're not in school, and it will really pay off in the long run when it comes to like getting recruited and getting scholarships. 3, I would say make sure your grades are on point. I don't want to sound like a parent or a teacher or anything, but this can be so important because 1, if you don't get a full ride to whatever school you choose to go to, you can get an academic scholarship, and that can help aid you in the areas that you need. So I would say really, really, really try to get good grades. And what else? good grades, they make you look better as a student athlete when you're being recruited. Like, coaches don't want to recruit somebody. You could be really, really good, but if you're failing all your classes, like, that's more of a liability than an asset to them. So just make sure that you are trying your best. I'm not saying you have to be a 4.0 student, but just really, like, make sure you just keep your grades up. Just, at least I don't even know what to say, because I was a 3.5 student for both degrees and in high school, so I don't really know. Like, my standards are 3.0 and higher, but, hey, everybody's different. But just make sure you're not in no low twos, at least a 2.9, at least a 2.9. Really make sure that you're setting yourself up to look good while you're being recruited. And grades are very important on that note, as well as trying to get additional scholarship money. 4, I would say reach out to schools and do their questionnaires if you can. I know when I was in high school and I wasn't really being recruited as much as I wanted to, I was going on websites, like looking at schools, doing the questionnaires, and that really worked for me because I was getting calls and emails back. So sometimes some coaches just don't see you, and sometimes you have to put yourself out there and shoot your shot. So I would say don't be scared. The worst they can do is, like, not respond or, like, not hit you up and not want you. But if so, move on to the next school. It's totally fine. 5, I would say when choosing your school, really do your research on the program and the coaching and the school as a whole too. I know this can save you a lot of time in the long run. It could prevent you from having to transfer, save you some money. I'm not gonna say stalk anybody or whatever, but just really dig deep online. I know y'all stalking these little boys and these little girls when y'all think they doing you wrong, stuff like that. Use that energy to really look into these schools, because one, when you're looking for a coach, you need to see their athlete history. Have they helped athletes progress, or are they just getting fast athletes in that will naturally just run fast regardless? 2, how's the program? How's the culture? How's the team? How does everybody, like, get along? And that you can pay attention to when you go on visits as well. But sometimes these athletes are going to lie to you because, one, they don't want to get in trouble by their coach or, like, anybody, their program. Or 2, they see you as potentially being a great teammate. Oh, okay, she fast. Like, yeah, we want her here. You know what I'm saying? Even though they hate it there. So it's kind of like you have to try to use your own discernment and try to figure out what's really going on at that school and, like, how it really is. It's kind of bad because, like, you can never fully know how things are somewhere without actually being there. You could think one thing, and then when you get there, it's a whole nother story. So I would say reach out to some people. If you know somebody who went there or goes there or works under the coach, well, not works, like, as a coach under the coach, but, like, any athletes that work under the coach, try to say, like, hey, I was interested in going there. Like, how is it? Even though they might lie to you, still see what they say. But sometimes, I'm not going to lie, some people do lie about coaches. They say a coach is bad, or they treat people better than other people, etc. But that might not always be the case. If a whole group of people are saying one thing and 1 or 2 people are saying something else, it's kind of like, you should honestly believe the majority, right? Because the 1 or 2 people are probably just bitter or hating. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Just really do your research before you go somewhere. I would hate for you guys to end up somewhere and be unhappy. 6 is make sure your performance matches the type of school you're trying to go to. I'm not even trying to say this in any type of way, but that's really important. I think it'll save you a lot of time, 1. And 2, save you from, like, getting your feelings hurt. For example, it's kind of not realistic to... I'm going to do a track example, by the way, because I don't know how to break it down in football. There's no way, for real, that you can be a 14-second 100-meter sprinter and try to run for Oregon. It's just not going to work. They have some girls running 10.9, 11 flat. So that compared to a 14 is just kind of... So I just think when looking at schools and doing all this, you have to be honest with yourself and like just really look in the mirror and say, okay, where am I right now? Ooh. And you could say, okay, and where could I be at the end of this year? And be realistic. I don't think anybody's going to drop from 14 seconds to 10 seconds in a year. But hey, I don't know. I'm just me. If a coach can get you there, let me know. Point me to the coach. I would just say be realistic when you are looking at schools and reaching out to these coaches so you're not wasting your time and their time. And even you can look on the roster, see what everybody else is doing currently on the team, and see what their walk-on standards are on the website, and say, okay, where am I compared to this? And do I think I can get to this before I graduate or by the time, junior year rolls around? So I think that's a really big tip and help. Look at their roster, look at their walk-on standards, see where you are and see where you could be, and try to pick your schools that way. There's nothing wrong with D1, there's nothing wrong with D2, there's nothing wrong with D3, there's nothing wrong with community college. If you get to do your sport on the next level, period, and it's getting paid for, I say go for it. Don't let anyone, make you feel otherwise or make you feel bad about what you're doing. Because at the end of the day, it's your life. You can do what you want. You can go to community college and be number one. And you can also be really fast coming out of high school, go to D1, get your butt whooped. It's just make sure that you are being smart and realistic with yourself. 7, I wanted to talk about scholarships. It's kind of different depending on your division and the school, so it's kind of hard to talk about. But I do want to mention that everybody is not going to come in and be on a full ride. There are actually not a lot of full rides given, from my knowledge, depending on what sport you do and what school you're at. I know for track and field, that is a sport that isn't really poured into as much or invested into like football or like basketball, especially depending on the school that you're at. So track and field at the schools that I went to, we definitely didn't have a lot of full scholarships or anything like that. So I was getting partial one because I was an in-state athlete, so I could get Hope scholarship, especially because my grades were on point. Got Hope scholarship, got Pell Grant. I had different things to help, and they knew that. So I got partial. So it kind of tied in together. I was on partial, but I also had academics and all this other stuff to help out. So I didn't have to pay anything, but that's not the case for everybody. Having different ways to get different scholarships is really important. I know one of my friends, she has a business called Securing Degrees. I think Securing Degrees LLC or something like that. I think that's the name on Instagram. But her name is Vicky Lamar, and she helps students get scholarships, grants, whatever. Anything related to scholarships or grants, definitely reach out to her. She can be a huge help. She's super smart, went to school with her, known her for forever. We ran track together at Quicksilver, so yeah, don't go into it automatically assuming that you're going to get a full ride. You could get a full ride, but I'm just saying, out of my experience as an athlete, I haven't met many athletes who were on a full ride in track and field. I know sometimes in football, I have heard either you're on a full ride or nothing at all. Either you're a walk-on or full ride. It just depends on the school, the division. Basketball, I know some people are partial. It just depends. So I would say look for other scholarships. Make sure your grades are on point just so you can have that cushion just in case they're not going to give you a full ride. So your parents don't have to worry about paying anything. The next one is have film or videos ready. So when a coach asks, when they're trying to recruit you or if you reach out to them and they want to see you perform, you have it. That's a mistake that I made when I was in high school. I reached out to this one school. They hit me back and they were like, hey, can you send us some videos of you running? And I didn't really have anything. I don't know why I didn't really have anything. I think I was a sophomore or a junior. But I didn't have much to show them at all. And I think I never even ended up emailing them back. But I feel if I would have, I would have had a good shot at going there, and it was a really good school. So I would just say be prepared. At practice, see if somebody can record you. Ask your coach, hey, can you record this rep? Or if y'all have a manager, ask them to record. Track meets, basketball games, football games, whatever, those get recorded. So I know players be having they film and all that, but track and field wise, make sure y'all get somebody to record. Whatever your sport is, if it doesn't get recorded already, make sure that you can get somebody to record so you have something to send. I just think that's so important. And also you can use that to look back at, technique or whatever you need to fix. So it can help you also perfect your craft. Just another way to, get better as an athlete. So yeah. Next, I want to say focus on injury prevention. I know in high school, I don't know, I wasn't thinking about that. Like, I hurt my hamstring once, but other than that, I was basically fine. Oh, and my shins. My shins were so bad in high school. But I would say make sure you try your best to not have any, huge injuries before you're going to college, because that can be, a red flag while being recruited, because it's kind of more of a liability than an asset for them. And honestly, nobody knows if it's going to get better once you get to their school and get to their trainer. It could get better and it could not get better. Nobody ever knows. So I would just say, really take care of your body in high school, because like I said, it's your workouts, everything is going to get more intense once you get to college. So if you're already broken up when you're in high school, your body is not going to mess with college stuff. So yeah, just be smart, especially AAU and all that too, because AAU and summer league stuff is usually more intense than school track or school basketball, all that. So I would say even when you're doing your summer league AAU stuff, really make sure you take care of your body, because your body will thank you for it in the long run once it gets to college. And it makes you look better being recruited because you don't have any injuries, and I think you have a higher chance of being recruited. One thing that I wish I would have known when picking a college is taking into consideration where I wanted to live after, because I think I would have been looking for more schools in those states. I don't know why that wasn't a thought in my head. It might be a thought in some of you guys' head, but I would just say when you're looking for a school and looking for places to pursue your sport on the next level, think, hey, can I see myself living there full time after? Or if you want to go pros, that's something totally different. But just think about all the connections that you make while you're in college, from classmates to professors to your athletic program, how many connections they have. It kind of sets you up to be able to stay in that state. And yeah, I just wish I would have thought about that a little bit more beforehand. But I know also scholarships, all that tie into where you go at the end of the day. So I just think that's something to just keep in the back of your head. A little something to think about, that's it. The last tip I want to give you guys is make sure you have a backup plan. And I only say this because you can't be an athlete your whole life. Yes, you can go pro, but after that, then what? If you don't have enough saved up, or you weren't making that much money from being a professional, you still have to get a job. And God forbid, but sometimes career-ending injuries happen out of nowhere. You never know what can happen. Sometimes life just happens and you can't do the sport that you were playing your whole life anymore. So I think it's really smart to just kind of figure out who you are outside of an athlete and what you really like and don't like, and just intertwine that into your life. I also do want to say, when you're picking a major or your program at the school, don't just pick something because it's easy. Pick something that you can benefit from in the long run. Choose a degree that you can actually use and that you're actually interested in. Don't just pick something because it's easy and it could just get you by while you're playing your sport. I know a lot of people who have done that, and then they didn't reach the professional level or whatever, and then they look back at their degree and they're like, I can't even use this. I had a really good academic advisor when I was at Memphis, because I was trying to pick between getting my MBA and sports commerce, and sports commerce is a really good major to get, don't get me wrong, but it was easier than an MBA. So people were telling me, like, you know, you don't want to be stressed out, like, you're moving to a new environment, you don't want to be there long. You know, the MBA program was a little longer. You know, a lot of, like, weighing your pros and cons, but in a sense, the sports commerce one would be easier for me to do. So I was getting a lot of, like, yeah, you should just do that. But I talked to my academic advisor, and she was like, yeah, like, a sports commerce one is good. That's what she got as well. But she said an MBA is more broad, and I can use it in sports, and I can use it in the business world. Like, it's just very well-rounded for me to be able to use after I graduate. It's worth more money, but it is harder. And I chose the harder route. Like, a lot of things in life are going to be hard, but, like, some are worth it. So I don't want you guys to just cheat yourself and not try to push yourself because you just want to skate by. Really think about yourself in the long run, and I promise you'll thank yourself for it, because yes, sports commerce would have been cool too, but I think I made the right decision when it came to getting my MBA. Plus, I graduated a semester early. I came in a semester late and still finished on time. So, I mean, it wasn't that hard. It was hard, but it wasn't that hard. I got past the bridge of it being hard and difficult and whatever, and I have my MBA now. So I just want to push you guys to push yourselves and to not do something just because it's the easy route. Yeah, just push yourselves all around. In your sport, outside of your sport, whatever it is. I think being an athlete really teaches you that. So don't just try to skate by, and actually do stuff that will help you in the long run, okay? Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys really took away some tips and they really help. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.